Okay, next job with the bonnet guard fitted. It looks too dark at the front end. I fancy the silver grille in any case, so I've managed to get one cheap. It's being delivered today, so this one is coming out. Proper tool for this on order, but it's not come yet, so I have to make do. Yeah, so the front end's got to come off. Currently on with that. Yeah, so these arch panels have to come off at each side. I'm getting somewhere. That would have been more work than I liked, but certainly getting there now. The new bit's come. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Let's clean it up a little bit. I'm not quite happy with it. So I'm doing the last bit, separating the grille from the bumper. That new part can go on. This just clips in initially. Top lights back up and then just shove it back on. It shouldn't be too difficult. metal inner clip next to the headlight that needs lining up. It slides about and needs lining up, and you push it in at each side. And that's what will messing me up. Okay, it's the morning after. I've had this back off. I found like a brace panel under here that were out of line. I pushed it back in line and suddenly everything is much better, lining up just perfectly really. So that's all wrapped up. Apart from these arches, I've got to replace all these because the arch cover is just not holding at all. So they all practically all broke, both sides. So while I'm waiting for the tool to remove these properly, I've got a couple out, but it's hard work. I'm just getting on with putting the new clips. I've had a delivery today in the back of the arch cover. You know, sometimes it's a pig to get in. So, following on from the last video where I had a fault code P0115 suggesting the engine coolant temperature sensor was at fault. What it's doing when it started tells me that it's not getting any sort of signal. So what I want to try and do, I've disconnected the wire. I'm going to run the car without the wire connected at all and just see what happens. I'm just interested to see what it does. Okay, so I've just got in car and started it, and it's a waste of time me taking car out because I can see straight away what's happening. There's no signal going to the temperature thing, so the sensor's working fine and it's getting a signal, so it's nothing to do with that. Okay, so I did mention in the previous episode that I wanted to fit a USB point in the back here, and much to my surprise, it does actually come off fairly easily. And I thought it was for a stereo. Maybe it is on some models, but certainly not on this one. So I've got the room, if I want, to put that there. Yeah, that's looking a lot easier now. I'm going to be using a pair of old cheap block connectors, well, ear block connector that I've had in house for a while. It doesn't lock together. It's similar to the one that's in car actually. So I don't claim to be good at soldering, as you can see. Pretty crap at soldering, no, I've never got a steady hand. That should do it. Okay, so the ignition has to be on. I was hoping it to be on all the time, but it's not. And here we go, not working USB slot. But what makes it easier is I can do the next bit out of the car, cut the hole for it in house. I'll march it up. It's just about to chuck it down outside, so do what a single bloke does. You do stuff over the sink. Oh yes. Finally got that to fit nicely. Just got to nut and bolt it in, and then it can be put back in car. So I've got the arch covers back on. It's all in place and working. That still looks fairly factory. Okay, as well as this, PO115. I've since had battery problems, which I'm going to be replacing shortly. But this cord has since appeared as well, which should give me a bit more of a clue, or an auto electrician a bit more of a clue. I'm suspecting this one might be something to do with the low power in the battery. It's possible, I don't know. So I had to buy a new battery because the old one was dropping down to 10.7 volts after being charged overnight, left in the house. That's another bit of stainless added. I made a couple of marks on it, drilling it. It's not really supposed to be drilled, it's just supposed to be stuck on. There are double-sided sticky things on the back of it, but I just preferred to put a couple of screws in. So that's what I've done. Subtle, not looking good. Okay, well I've just had the temperature up to 1 bar higher than that, although I don't know what actual temperature it was. I've not got it set like that, I'll have to look at it next time. But I don't think the fan's cutting in, and that might be what my fault codes are. I've not heard the fan run yet. I keep having a look at it when it's up to a reasonable temperature. I've not seen it run yet, so that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Okay, so I've got a new top hose ready to go on. The old one had a pinhole leak, and it's got that type of connection up here on the vehicle, so I don't see how to undo it. I assume it's supposed to be cut off, So that's what I'm going to do. I've just put a screw in one at this end. That's better. So, after a wrestling match lasting well over an hour, I finally got this off the radiator bit. And I've ended up, as you can see, having to cut into it and then split it with a screwdriver just to give it a chance to get it off. It was an absolute nightmare. So I'll put a new pot back on there. So I'll put washing up liquid on both of these bits, which is this bit here and this bit. So stick a new bit on, hopefully quickly. That's there, so it should be, I believe. Looks about right. That's clicked into place, so this should push straight in, and it has done. That's excellent. Should do it. That's that all wrapped up. Top coolant's up. Just put battery back in and get a start. There's no sign of leaks so far. That looks alright. Right, I'm not remotely happy with how these covers fit. So, apart from tying them underneath, I'm going to attempt to sew them. Actually, sew this bit down this line, down to the fabric underneath. See if I can get any sort of result out of that. It's very awkward, but I'm getting somewhere. Okay, so this tie thing here, I'll put into a little eyelet, a metal frame here. This one, I'm just going to hold it tight, and then I'm just going to put a couple of stitches into fabric under here at each point, probably a bit over here as well. But that is actually looking a lot better. Okay, the stitch here, just knock that off and cut it off, and yeah, one there, that'll do it. Okay, so this is I'm trying to do. It's a job getting a needle through it. Yeah, so I finished at the front. 3 places there. Now, I reckon I'll get to that fabric there, put it like that, stitch it to this sort of point. That's going to hold it fairly tight. Okay, so this is looking a lot better, if not perfect. I could have done with stitching it there before I put back on. I might try pulling it back up and stitch it there. It's a lot of work though. This bit here, I'm just going to stick my hand down here and sew it through there. Would be the easy way, I think. Okay, it's a lot, obviously not fantastic, but it's a lot better than it was. And when you look at the passenger seat, it's not been touched yet, you can see how bad this one was before. So, see if I can do that one a bit better. See how it goes. That's the second seat cover done. Possibly done it a little bit better than the first one. So the rear seat is in two pieces, which makes it easier. I fastened it, sewn it there, a couple of other places, one here, and then at the back as well, here. But I've yet to decide what to do for the MOT, because it needs to, the seatbelt holes are here. I don't really want to cut into that, it's going to make it look a mess. I've tied these temporarily around the back seat, just to let me stitch it down. That's not very tight there, I could have done that a lot tighter than that. I'll just put a stitch in here, one at the other side, and then 3 along the bottom, and that'll do it. It don't look great like that, but it's actually, when it's all evened out, it don't look too bad. Once it's stitched at the bottom, that'll look okay, I think. That's all done, I'll put back together. Can't put headrests in. Already said about seatbelt holes before. Don't know what to do about them yet. Actually, it took me ages to get that bottom bit back in with that in place. Also, with a set of seat covers, there's a middle section that went in here that I took out. It wasn't actually necessary. So, what it's actually supposed to fit, I don't know. Maybe it's Grand Cherokee. But the middle bit's in there, and head restraints fit back. I'm not putting them in. So, right. I finished yesterday thinking I wasn't going to put the headrests in the back seat, but changed my mind overnight, and now I am. Also, I wasn't going to do these seatbelt holes, but again, I've changed my mind overnight, and this is the way I'm doing it. Just cut a hole out for it, and just sewing round edges, just very crudely. I ain't got any black cotton, unfortunately. So, I've done the first one. If it wasn't for the fact that I cut into leather a bit too much there, well, a lot too much, that really won't look too bad. It's a shame. So I'll see if I can repair that a bit better. Let's carry on with this for now. Right, so I've finished. Put a bit of paint on. Just let that dry a bit. I'll stick it in car. See how it looks. See how bad that looks, particularly. Alright, so I've got the closest drill bit to the diameter of the headrest. Now I'm going to heat the drill bit up, just make the holes with that. Straight through, nice. That's the head restraints back in. It looked quite neat. I could just kick myself over that. That has spoilt it. It really wouldn't look bad at all, but for that bit, never mind. Just going to pick car up, all finished. Today's bibble. So it found to be the external temperature sensor. And now there's no fault codes, no check engine light, all sorted. I've got this sunshade to put in the rear window. Well, it actually fits the shape of it very well. But it's difficult to get the clips in that hold it. So apparently it can be held okay just with 2 clips. So one central at the top. Put in one central at the bottom. I might put the other 2 in as a matter of course at either side, but we'll see. I've also got another 2 shades to put in these tiny little windows here. Yeah, with these all in place, once I've got these 2 in as well, it'll make it very difficult to see what's in back here. Not for the first time. What should have been a simple job has turned into something ridiculous because you cannot get the clips to fit into here. So I'll have to take this inner panel off. I'm going to have to cut this bit out with the Dremel in order to be able to get that far enough down so that this doesn't hit the glass and still lets the sunshade into there. There's my estimate when I'm cutting it to. So now I'm going to attempt to push that into position with that in place. Now, well, that failed. That fell out as I was trying to put it back in, but I'm thinking it might slot in there in any case, bit of luck, so just gonna have to try it this way. Right, it's in position. It's not fitting as well as it could because I've cut a little bit too much out of both of these areas. So I'm gonna fit these at either side. I'm gonna have to trim a bit off the edge of each of them to get it to fit properly. Okay, so just to clarify how these instructions are, it is impossible to fit like that. Impossible. On a Jeep Renegade, you cannot fit it like that. So I've done my best with it. The only way I could clip that into position was by cutting it down as far as I have, and it's even doing it that way, it's down a little bit too far to actually hold it properly. So I'm having to put these in, like I said before. I've cut them down off the top with the Dremel. You can see that's a bit uneven, but now it holds that in position. I'm just going to put a quick drill hole in there and a screw, and the same at this side, and that should be fine. I'm just dabbing some black paint on these screws, and then it's all done. A bit of spring keeping it out of there, but it's that spring that keeps it in place. I'm happy with that. It's almost impossible to see into the lower area. Not bad. Yeah, this is pretty typical of me. But after all the work I've done putting this rear seat cover on, that is really annoying me. I can't have it like that. So I found a leather rear seat base on eBay that's on its way to me, so I shall have that fitted shortly. That'll sort the problem nicely. I wasn't intending fitting all leather seats anyway in time. They're a little bit expensive at the moment, but when Renegades have been out of production for a little bit longer, they should become a bit cheaper. So I should just wait and take my time. Well, these little sunshades have come for the little windows, and amazingly there's no fitting kit at all. They just push it in. I think that looks quite neat. Right, the seat base has been delivered, the leather one. So I'll unpack it, check it out, make sure it's alright, clean it up and stick it in. Okay, look, I can't see any splits anywhere. It looks pretty good. It's grubby, but that looks pulling off. That's the internal thing on the base of the car. That needs pulling off of there. I'm going to try a wipe on it and then just a leather conditioning cream, see how that goes. That didn't take long, and it's come up beautifully. Not a mark on it. That's all fitted. And I'm really well pleased with the outcome of that. That looks really nice.